La La Land is a romantic comedy drama musical film and is directed by Damian and Chazelle and stars Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. And this film is absolutely 100% beautiful. This is one of the most perfect movies I've seen all year. Just the way it was directed, the way it was told, it was passionately done. You could tell a very passionate director wanted to tell this story. And I think this film is even better than Whiplash. And don't get me wrong, I love that movie as well. It's just La La Land, I just got engrossed in more and just got captivated by, because this was a breathtaking movie and I absolutely love this movie. First thing I have to say is this film looks beautiful, and like the colors, the way it was shot, the way the visuals interacted with the story was beautifully done. And the thing I like about this film is it's an homage to classic musical films from the 50s and 60s. And I like how this film goes back to the original roots of the musical. Instead of this film being a modern musical, it goes back to the classical musical films like The Sound of Music, West Side Story, and a little bit of Gene Kelly in there as well. And it's one of the best musicals I've seen in years. And there have been a lot of musicals recently, but none of them have just really had the passion or drive in them. This one does, because you have a director who's passionate about film and music. And instead of this film trying to be modern and trying to like shove, current pop songs down your throat, this film does a bit of both. The time period this film is set in is modern, but the way the music is done and the way the story is told is pretty classical and calls back again to the 50s and 60s. In fact, there were a couple of times throughout this film where I thought I was watching a film that was set in the 20s, because it reminded me a little bit of Midnight in Paris, because that film was gorgeously stunning, just visually interesting, and La La Land reminded me of Midnight in Paris, but La La Land takes it a step further. It goes all the way with its visuals, goes all the way with its musical numbers, and goes all the way with everything. Now, I'm going to get into what really stood out, and that was the performances. With Damian Chazelle's previous film, there was only one actor and one character I wasn't that big fan of, and that was Miles Teller's character. Here in this film, there was not one character I hated. Everyone did a fantastic job. Specifically, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Ryan Gosling, I've never been the biggest fan of. I've never been, that huge. I wouldn't say, oh, Ryan Gosling's my #1 favorite actor. Because in the past, I've always seen him as that actor from The Notebook. So, yeah, I was never that big into him. And it's only with the films he's released in this decade that I've started to change my opinion on him. Like, films like Drive and The Nice Guys have, show me that there's more to this actor than his good looks. And this is a thing I like about Ryan Gosling. When he needs to play a dramatic role, he can play it really well. And when he needs to play a funny role, he can play it really well. And now I want to get into the actor who was the shining star of this film, Emma Stone. For a long time, I have been the biggest fan of Emma Stone. She's never given a performance I either hated, disliked, or just straight up just like, No, I've liked every performance she's ever given. Even if the film's not good, she's always the best part. Like, for me, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a guilty pleasure, but when her character was killed off in that film, my heart was broken, because I adore Emma Stone as an actress. She's just that talented. She plays her characters with such kindness and such subtlety that you have to admire it. And she always plays such likable roles, and it's no different here. Her role in this film is likable. And a lot of people have been going about, how this is her best performance, she definitely deserves an Oscar nomination. I kind of saw that, but I wasn't totally convinced until the scene in the movie where Emma Stone won me over and made me believe that she deserves an Oscar was the scene where she did the solo song called The Fools Who Dream. When you see this movie and watch her perform this song, you will be just blown away. And when I was watching this, I had a constant chill down my spine, because she sang with such passion, such drive, and it's so rare for a performance like this to melt my heart. Because this scene for me was the best part and was the scene that convinced me that Emma Stone 100% absolutely deserves the Oscar at next year's Academy Awards. This role, I think, is Emma Stone's best role of all time, and I've loved her in every other role she's done, but I think in La La Land, this is her best role, and it will be hard for her to top a role like this because, again, it's one of a kind. You will never see a performance like this ever again. Overall, I strongly recommend people see this film, and I would be lying if I said this was an absolutely perfect movie. There is only one flaw I didn't like, and this really doesn't hurt the film, but just, again, with this film paying homage to those classical musical films, this film does have some cheesy moments. And when you see this film, you'll know what I talk about. There are some pretty cheesy stuff that happens, some pretty cheesy lines, some pretty cheesy moments. But I kind of expected that because cheesy moments like that are in a lot of other, classic musical films. So I kind of expected that. But even though I like musical films very much, it's just my one gripe with a lot of musical films are the cheesy moments, and it's no different here. This film can be a bit cheesy at moments, but this film has a perfect amount of drama, comedy, and romance, and musical numbers that I think people can look past it. And I'm going to give La La Land a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5. Thank you so much for watching.